Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And good afternoon, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans. Into Southdale Community Center for this Sunday afternoon matchup in the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League between the home side in the St. Boniface Riels and the visitors in the St. James Junior Canucks. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator for this one, and Graham the G Show. Forsyth, we're brought to you by Terraco, Movement Fitness and Performance, Elite Prospects, goaltenders, as well as Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. We've so far, before today, done 3 MMJHL game day streams in total. There's been 5 games that have been played through the first 2 days of the MMJHL's regular season, and they end off the opening weekend with a 5-game slate today. And for us, with our broadcast schedule, we're actually doing another game today. A lot of doubleheaders on our network this year in terms of 2 broadcasts in one day to give you maximum value. 21 games to be broadcasted on our Uscreen service this year, as we're partnered up as well with Bentley Brands Company in Prairie Sports Network. Right now, Bentley and his crew, they have the call between the Raiders Junior Hockey Club and the Pembina Valley Twisters. As mentioned, there's been 5 games that have gone down in the MMJHL so far through the first 2 nights of action. Friday night, really entertaining as both games on our network, as we also covered Charleswood, St. James, of course, St. Boniface versus Transcona, and yeah, 2 thrilling games to kick things off for, all 4 of those teams that were involved in those 2 matchups. And then River East getting by Pembina Valley in a close one, too, on Friday night. Sets the stage for what should be an interesting day number 3 of league play this year. So far, the 2 games that are going down right now, the Stonewall Jets, they're currently tied with the Transcone Railer Express with 2:17 remaining in the first period in East End this afternoon. Puck dropped on that matchup at 2 p.m. And as for the Twisters and the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, it's 2-0 right now in favor of the Raiders. 12:51 remaining in the second period over there. But as for this game this afternoon, between these 2 franchises, 3 years ago, St. Boniface on the up and up, just making it into the playoffs in the 2022-2023 season, and they faced off against the St. James Junior Canucks in the Elite 8 round of that season. And back then it was St. Boniface who was the up-and-coming champion, and or the up-and-coming team that was trying to strive for a championship. And then for the St. James Junior Canucks, they were, of course, that team that was, defending champions and already established in their in time of that group, that dynasty that ended up ensuing for the St. James Junior Canucks. But since then, well, even dating back to last year, we saw a bit of a change in the landscape of the league where the St. James Junior Canucks ended up finishing 6th place. For St. Boniface, they finished 4th, but they ended up going on a championship run, delivering their first championship since 2014-15. Meanwhile, for St. James, their first-round playoff loss in the Elite Eight to the Transcona Railer Express ended up being the first time they lost a postseason series, meaning a series in the playoffs since before COVID-19. When they lost to the Pembina Valley Twisters back in the 2018-19 MMJHL Finals. And as for the Canucks, as the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end. This was a team that heading into last year was not looking for a repeat, not even a three-peat, but were looking to four-peat last season. And I mean, things not particularly going their way in the postseason, things leading up to it, and of course, they end up going out in 6 games, losing to Transcona in the first round last year. But it's about hitting the reset button for them this season. This is a younger St. James Junior Canucks team compared to recent years. They may not have an absolute superstar on this team anymore, but good, promising young talent with some good returnees still back on this year's roster, and of course Ryan Dick and his coaching staff, who came in as the interim head coaches or the interim coaches last year, they get a full-time gig this season, and they played Charleswood tough on Friday night. They took him to a OT, where it would end up being the Canucks who would just fall short in that game. So going into this one against St. Boniface today, well, a team that showed resiliency with a 2-1 OT victory on Friday night. They came back down 1-0 after giving up a goal on the first shot against of the game for themselves. And shades of last postseason in that victory. St. Boniface, no matter what last season, just seems like they never said die. They never quit in the matchup against Transcona, and they end up outshooting them in the third as well as in the OT to lead them back to a victory. And I'd say today, the only thing, you're looking for more consistency. 10-10 were the shots in favor, well, between both St. Boniface and Transcona on Friday night. St. Boniface then lets up 17 shots, only registers 9 in the second period of that matchup against Transcona. And then they come back and have an even better period, outshooting them, of course, as mentioned, in the third and in OT. And if they can find a bit more consistency, well, it's going to be tough for the St. James Junior Canucks team, like many teams, to hang with the St. Boniface team tonight, or this afternoon, in this late afternoon MMJHL game day matchup. We got the national anthem coming up next, and then after that, puck drop on this first period of play. Enjoy, everybody. Well, it may be NFL Sunday. You may be watching maybe something else leading up to this matchup that you're about to enjoy and witness. But for us here in the MMJHL, It's a Super Sunday of action for the first time. All 10 teams in action in a single day in 2025-2026. And as for this matchup between the St. Boniface Riels and the St. James Junior Canucks, the two most recent champions in the MMJHL going at it, this is MMJHL Game Day on your home for MMJHL Hockey on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. And we're brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico, Movement Fitness and Performance, Elite Prospects, and goaltenders for this matchup in this first period will be brought to you by specifically Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Is rough physical play down low to start things off here in the St. James end. Kalen Reyes from the back end rims this all the way around. Huge hit by Brzezinski along the board. Shot high of the net, trying to locate that crease that was occupied and will be occupied this afternoon by Connor Murphy, back for another year with this St. James Junior Canucks squad. As this puck sent all the way in deep into the Riels end, pass towards the point, intercepted by Brzezinski, but he loses the handle on it. As swooping in was Werfel, assistant captain this year. One of the assistants on this year's St. James squad. As it'll be sent in deep by Reyes, who thought he had his hair sticking out for a minute on the back of his jersey, but it's actually his neck guard that's hanging off and now actually comes off of Reyes. The refs still letting the play go as it's Sukit trying to dangle through, almost does, but shut down instead by number 13 and Carter Judry. It's a penalty to start things off here. With 18:31 remaining, not even 2 minutes into this game. Will be coming to the St. James Junior Canucks. And Sachin going off for the St. Boniface Riels. It's going to be their power play, but... oh, someone heard down below, actually. As this is scary sights here at Southdale Community Center. So I believe that's Kalen Reyes. He gets back up. And he'll go back to the locker room, hoping that he ends up being okay. It's a physical game out here. And you can only hope for St. Boniface that it's not too serious for Kalen. Thoughts are with him right now. But as for this hockey game, as mentioned, not even a minute 30 in, actually. A minute 29 gone on the clock so far. It's the first power play this afternoon for St. Boniface Riels side that had some great chances at points on Friday night against Transcona, but overall not faring as well as they have in most recent times on the power play. As this power play will be brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Shot turned aside by Murphy to start things off here. Puck out of the Canucks zone. Osterman trying to play it back. This year's captain for the Canucks instead plays it out. Whacks it off the near glass all the way down into the Riel zone. Sachin will elect to carry this from beyond the goal line in his own end. Dishes a pass out to Cole Davis, who scored the OT winner on Friday night for the Riels in their win against Transcona. This covered up by Connor Murphy. As with Kalen Reyes out, it takes away a piece for the Riels that they rely on the power play. It's nice to get Evan Lambert back for them this afternoon, as he was out of the lineup, and Well, a huge factor that St. Boniface didn't even have with them. They have him back today. It does make up, from a player standpoint, the loss of Riels. When you're able to have that skill on your unit in Lambert. That shot unable to get through, blocked up. Another chance, this time turned aside by Connor Murphy. That had some velocity on it from number 2. Is in the corner. Sitar's battling away. Still get it free up to Lambert. Lambert cross ice feed, D to Brzezinski. Pressured right away. All he can do is send this down low. Is getting on at first, Grayson Matthews for the Riels. Gets it free, Matthews to Brzezinski. His shot scores! The Riels connecting on the power play, finding just a bit of room to get that pass through that seam to Brzezinski was Grayson Matthews. Brzezinski gets himself in a dangerous spot on the ice, near the bottom of that right face-off circle. That goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Brzezinski on the board for the first time this afternoon. The Riels on the board for the first time this afternoon. For Brzezinski. He'll, of course, not remain out on what will continue to be a St. Boniface Riels power play, as ends up being what appears to be a game misconduct off of that hit on Kalen Reyes that has sent him out of this hockey game. And penalty came to number 15 and Jay Sanderson. At least that's the number up on the board right now. But the most recent goal, and the only goal in this game so far, early for the Riels, coming from Nathan Brzezinski. It's the second of the season. Is the other unit out now for this Riels side. Up to Sachin. His shot through a screen, scores! Might have been tipped on net. And this one actually is waved off. As Lucas Major is arguing his case with the referee right now, trying to find out why. And honestly, I'm not quite sure why. This ends up being waved off. Be nice if the refs were mic'd up and they were able to give us calls, but perhaps the net was off. There's something similar to that effect. Not too sure. As Reef Sukin, that pass behind for Major, forces for the Riels to regroup, allows for St. James to send this down low. Shot on net. Tess Dominico. It's Dominico, the goaltender, this afternoon in the crease for the Riels. Playoff MVP Owen Larocque got the start on Friday night as Major and Sukkot look to go to work. Pass from Sukkot cross ice, a bit behind Davis again. Had to stop up to regroup. The Riels looking to make the Canucks pay the other way, but the Riels had to get on side first. They couldn't. As Davis, I'm not too sure what had happened, but pretty sure he gets knocked down inside the blue line. What all the noise was about, from benches asking for a call out there for interference perhaps, but no, the Riels still remain on a 5-on-4 power play in this lengthy one. It's about a 5-minute major to Anderson. Sent Kalen Reyes out of this one. Down low, Dubois sends it right back up to Brzezinski as Brzezinski shields us along the boards and gets it right back down low to his man. Over to Sitar's in the high slot. His shot turned aside by Murphy. As Brzezinski protects his puck strongly. Somehow sends it across to Grayson Matthews. Matthews walks in. His shot kicked aside by Murphy. Sent out by the Canucks all the way down to the Riels end. Dominico quickly plays it up to Brzezinski, who is at the Canucks blue line. Brzezinski thought about shooting but holds on instead. Sauces it across to Matthews. Quickly up to Lambert. Back down low to Brzezinski. His shot, unable to get through cleanly, was blocked up. Rebound was sitting there. It was picked up down low by the Riels instead. Matthews tried to locate Brzezinski cross ice, but pass doesn't get through this time. But Sitars will pick this up. Side of the net. Tries to feed this over to Matthews. Gets held up a bit. Line held by Lambert. Matthews again. Matthews to high slot for Sitars, but that shot wide of the net. So it was a good look from the two rookies from this Riels side. Matthews looking very confident on the power play right now. Sent it down low to Dubois, who gets cut off. Left it for Sitars. Sitars trying to muscle his way towards the net, but not strong enough to break through. There's a bit of undisciplined tendencies breaking out for the Riels as Georgiou got sent to the ice. It was Dubois who sent him there, high stick. Will get us to a 4-on-4 for the next 27 seconds. It sends Dubois to the box. And with that, we're going to be seeing a Canucks power play coming up soon, but first 27 seconds of 4-on-4 draw won by the Riels. Sachin just sends this out up the boards, far side. It's played across to Phillips. Saucers it right back. Number 21 in Parnell. Parnell back to Phillips. Not able to cradle the puck. Send it in deep instead as it was redirected. Parnell at the point. It battles alongside of Riel. Trying to come in to take this away was number 18 and Caden Gordon. But Parnell played him well. It's down low. Parnell got it to Cullen. His shot turned aside. Parnell on the rebound. Couldn't get a shot away as Werfeld scoops this up just below the ring line. Feeds it across to Cullen. Waits for the shot. Fans on it. Off of the hesitation. Sits up top to Phillips. Works it across to Parnell. Tries sending it right back, but has some trouble with it once again. Dominico got it to Gordon, who sent it out. Eventually, Cullen ends up being called for an offside. His team didn't end up clearing the zone in time. 12:59 remaining in this period. 1-0 Riels. They're currently on the penalty kill for the next minute and 2 seconds. Draw one towards the boards by Salamacha. They couldn't control it. All they can do is regroup by sending this back down into their own end. Orsaba will dish this out to his teammate in Salamacha. Got it to Arneson. Arneson sent it down low. Riels tried to rim it out, but Salamacha at the point holds the line well. No, actually has the puck now to Arneson. He goes. Huge block there by Riels, who's back in this game. Right when his Riels needed him to, comes away with a huge block. Luke Ross from distance takes this shot, turned aside by Murphy. Contemplated holding on to it, but ends up playing it up to a teammate instead. Dipsy doodling number 24 in AP in this game today for the Canucks is called for an offside at the line. As 14 seconds remain in the Carson Dubois penalty. By the way, scores from around the league right now. Transcona has gained a 3-2 lead, so a 1-goal lead over Stonewall with 11:01 left in their second period. It's still 2-0. Heading into the third period now over at Seven Oaks between the Raiders Junior Hockey Club and the Pembina Valley Twisters. As we are back to even strength now. Out on the ice for the Victorias, it's Ethan Rich, who came out after Dubois went off. Lambert shuts things down far side in the Riels end. There's a bit of miscommunication behind the net. Dominico and Ewan Reyes. So it allows for Rich, after they got it out, to carry that in. For evading A tough moment here now. Strip Brzezinski right at the blue line. Brooks sends this in opposite corner where the Canucks are able to get to it first, but unable to do much with it. It's for the Riels, trying to just send this out. We'll have to wait a bit longer as Brooks, still on the forecheck, forces Lambert to send it opposite side, the near side in his own end, trying to get that to a teammate, but taking a bump. Was a Canuck, as I do believe Jace Anderson is still actually in this game, so apologies MMJHL fans. The penalty, actually there was a game misconduct that came to Jaden Ward. Jace Anderson was the one who served the penalty. So we do get Can Central Sports Cards and memorabilia off the board now. As this chipped out of the Canuck zone, given chase, it's Cullen. There's Arneson on it in the neutral zone. Now makes his way in down the near side, back into the Riels end. So he lost possession of this puck. The Riels to an outlet man far side. Now pass cross ice up the middle, but off the skate and stick of Chornley. Sukit almost forces a turnover into the Riels possession in the Canuck zone, but was unable to. This puck will be picked up by Matthews, but turns it over up the wall. Held in by this Canuck squad as Warsaw now tries to make his way in deep. Had the puck stripped, but a penalty is coming up. 2 minutes for an interference. It'll be Zachary Dominico going to the box. Send St. James back onto the man advantage. Have more time to work with it this time around. As last time, had to play at 4-on-4 a bit before getting that man advantage. See what type of magic they could potentially work here. As Osterman up to Warsaba. Warsaba off of the stick. Number 24, this gets cleared out, but number 24, Aiden McIntosh for this Canucks team. Salamacha. He'll pass this off after skating in. Dubois ends up stripping Osterman of the puck. Dubois towards the Canucks goal. Huge back check by Osterman. A penalty drawn by Dubois. But I'm sure Canucks coaching staff not the most mad about that penalty that's taken by Osterman, as he makes up for giving it away just inside the Riels' own end. So he had possession of it, had it blocked up, trying to send it towards the net into Dubois' pads, and Dubois had a step on him. All Osterman can do is take him down with a hook. And with that, we're back to 4-on-4 as Riels almost takes another bad fall into the boards, but he ends up being okay. Rejoins his team back into the Canuck zone. So he left a pass quickly for Brzezinski to the front of the net. That's played for Sukit, as Sukit denied in front by Murphy, who pass up to number 21 in Parnell. As Parnell cutting to the middle. His shot denied by number 30 in Dominico. As 52 seconds remain in this 4-on-4, and the Riels are going to have a bit of power play time to work with. With 8:35 remaining in this first period of action. Shots are 8-5 in favor of the St. Boniface Riels. Werfel to take the draw against Shea Chornley. And draw will be won by Chornley as the Riels transition up into neutral ice. Pass across from Ewan Reyes deflects out of play and into the Riels bench. Which will get us another face-off draw just inside the Victoria or the Riels zone. As Werfel this time wins the draw, but not ready for it was Ryland Murphy. Allows for the Riels to get this out fairly easily as it's played up ahead. The number 31 and Jack Beluzu plays it up to the point. Now DDD pass to Sachin. Couldn't do much with it. They're not cradling it cleanly, so all he does is send it down low. Beluzu back up to Sachin. Sachin across to Ewan Reyes. Unloads, fires, shot turned aside by Murphy. as the Canucks this time around on this upcoming face-off draw looking to be a bit more alert, as he should have had a chance to get a shot attempt on net at the very least on Dominico. It was Rylan Murphy who was slow getting back into the zone, and they hadn't even started the play yet. Haven't really seen that often, to be quite honest with you. The 10th shot of the game, this one turned aside by Murphy as it's his 9th stop out of 10 shots faced. The Riels recently had a goal waved off that would have put the score at 2-0. But still enjoying a 1-goal lead, which, of course, looking to extend here. Coming up is, I believe that's Ewan Riels with the puck down low. Challenging number 6 in Mitchell Firth. Brzezinski comes down to help out as we're on to a Riels power play now for the next 28 seconds. Taken away at the blue line by the Canucks. It's Arneson who will just send this down back into the Riels end. Now Arneson takes that puck away from Sukit, but tripped up. Can continue down low to try to race after it. Instead, Kalen Reyes got to it first. As with 15 seconds remaining on this power play, now 10. The Riels worked it in quickly, but just as quickly taken out of the zone as that puck was knocked away. So we are now back to even strength as the Canucks really aggressive on the penalty kill defense. Big reason why St. Boniface doesn't have any chances there late in their power play sequence. Their most recent one is, this will be saucered up by Tyson Wilson. Icing beat out now by number 24, Aiden McIntosh. Down low, it's Osterman who gets pinned up along the boards. Mitchell with a big hit down low for McIntosh on a Riel. This puck will be sent all the way back down into the Canucks zone now. Wilson off the boards, tries to get it up to McIntosh, but instead it's cut off at neutral ice. A bit of trouble as Gallagher now tries to poke this past Ariel's defenseman, but instead shut down. Puck sent right back into the Canucks zone. Wilson off the boards, sends it to Phillips. Phillips off the boards to Gallagher, tries to poke this ahead, but met the stick of Ariel. Instead, that shot close to the net, turned aside by Murphy. The Riels get it back up to the point. It's to Sachin. His shot turned aside by Murphy. Can't find it. Loose puck still there. The Riels recover it. High slot, controlled up to the point. D. Sachin walks in wide of the net. This time that goes. His first one on it will be McIntosh. Sends this pass towards the middle for Gallagher. The Canucks able to survive the onslaught from the Riels. The pressure they put on there. Sachin will look to go for a skate. Sachin, his shot wide of the net after being deflected. Be picked up along the boards by Carter Jewdry. Loses the puck down low. Riels get this back and a shot in the slot. Wide of the net that goes. The Riels set it up quickly there. In on the attack. Trying to send it off the boards down low, but instead, this time the Canucks get possession of this, but send it into the roof. And that'll get a stoppage in play. A face-off just outside the Canucks end. Pretty sure Dubois arguing it should be inside, since don't think that touched a Riel on the way towards hitting the roof. But alas, doesn't really matter as the Canucks won the draw anyways. Now controlled again by the Riels. Reyes looking up ice, can't get that pass through. Instead, he'll activate up now, but couldn't keep themselves onside was this Riels squad. As Reyes, I believe either Sitars or Belus were caught off. Draw just outside the Canucks zone again, this time won by the Riels. As that looks like a dirty play that just happened. I'm pretty sure Dubois just got it in the midsection. One of the worst plays you can see in this game. That's 2 minutes for spearing. It may be more, actually. It should be a major penalty. Gets him. It honestly all male hockey players, I think, can agree that is the worst spot you can get hit. Unless you get taken out from behind hard into the boards or head first. Like that, yeah, never feels good. It's the Riels who go on to a 4-minute double minor. A 4-minute power play for Spearing. So we bring Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia back on to the screen down below. The Riels looking to make the Canucks pay here after a reckless and dirty play from number 12 in Aiden Werfel. We'll see how karma hits number 12 in this one. Type of price he may have to pay. You got to be enemy number 1 now in this game. So I'm thinking if the Riels, all I want to do is probably make sure to, well, don't stoop to his level, but deliver a hard, clean body check back to him to send a message. We'll see how that storyline develops as this game goes along. As Suka can't send that cross ice to his fellow point man on this power play, instead taken away by the Canucks and sent all the way back down into the Riels end, and that's not an ice in, that's a high stick called. Which will set up a face-off in the offensive zone for the Canucks on this penalty kill. Penalty kill has been a bright spot for them so far in this game. Started creating some chances on the most recent PK they had. McIntosh lost the draw, allows for the Riels to work this DDD and worked up. Now to Brzezinski as he holds just inside the blue line. Up top to Lambert. That shot turned aside. Rebound there, but nice job by the Canucks at whacking that away. Getting it all the way back down into the Riels end. Penalty coming up again for the Canucks, though. This is going to be a trip 5-on-3 for the Riels. So look to play with it 6-on-4 for as long as they can. Finally touched up by the Canucks. And it appears that we'll be going to a 5-on-3. As Chaudhry. Oh, sorry, Gallagher goes to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. It'll be 5-on-3 for the next 2 minutes. For this Riels side, Cole Davis, OT winner on Friday night, won that draw, but Canucks able to get it out after the Riels couldn't get possession of it off the one draw. As Evan Lambert will look to go for a skate, just kidding, decides to dump it in just before the blue line. But getting out just as quickly were the Canucks. The whistle called from the linesman. Believe they're deeming this one out of play. Or no, just kidding, I think it ended up into the equipment of Evan Lambert. Maybe he was just holding the puck. Regardless, we're back to play after the face-off draw won by the Canucks. The Riels get it back. It's worked down low. Reeves Sukit walks to the net. Denied by number 31 and Connor Murphy, who, when we take a look back at Connor Murphy last season, really good stats for him. Of course, wasn't his net in the postseason. Ended up losing the starting job in that series, but I mean, a 17-10-2 record, a .905 save percentage after taking over for some huge shoes to fill with Noah Gilbert aging out of this league going into last season. It's Murphy, he's been solid in this one so far. And the Canucks penalty kill has done a good job of keeping the Riels at bay right now. Almost broke the dam there where the Riels, as a blast from Lambert off the side of the net. It's worked down low. Sukit walks out in front, gets there to Davis. Now a chance for Brzezinski, but that's denied. Murphy down. Huge defense out in front to help out their goaltender, though, as that shot ends up out of play. So it's blocked up by a St. James Junior Canucks defenseman. So many chances for this Riels side, but they're unable to capitalize. And what I've liked so far from the approach from Ryan Dick and his coaching staff is you got to worry about the place where the Riels has burnt so many teams. And that's where the end result usually happens for them when a puck goes in the back of the net, which is the front of the net. Doing a good job of minimizing the damage that can be done on rebounds. Doing a good job of helping out their goaltender, boxing out, clearing pucks away. Not making it easy for this Riels team is there. That shot off the post from Shea Chornley. As we still remain at a 1-0 score in favor of the Riels. 15 shots on goal so far. Kalen Reyes down low to Dubois. Tries feeding that back up top to Chornley. Cross ice, but instead met a stick. It was disrupted. That shot, friendly fire there as Reyes hits Major, but Reyes, good recovery. Able to get this puck back along the boards. Battles alongside Cullen. Cullen gets the better of him at the red line, allows for Orsaba to send that in deep. So Orsaba out there with Osterman. It's Osterman, the only forward for the St. James Canucks team out, as they're still on a 5-on-3. That great pass over to Lambert, who's denied by Murphy. Somehow Murphy gets a piece of it off of his helmet, I think that goes. What a release from Lambert to get that off. It's a bit more accurate. Maybe you can get the one-timer off even cleaner, which is kind of crazy how he's able to dig that out from between his skates. As 26 seconds remain on this 5-on-3. Brzezinski denied. Couldn't get that shot through cleanly as Brzezinski walks up top, drops this off to Sachin. Sachin can't get that pass through, but trickles towards the front of the net. Backdoor feed! Oh, somehow stays out the side of the net. That shot from Davis as mispass at the line. Osterman has a step past Sukit. Osterman, his shot denied by Domenico as a shorthanded chance from the captain. A great effort, but Domenico gets the better of him on that glorious chance from the Canucks captain. The final minute of this period, Sachin is past Telegraph, picked off by Hutchinson. Hutchinson sidesteps a Riel. He gets taken out by Sachin, but left Salamacha all alone to go towards the net. Now Suka closed in on him, along with a few other Riels. Up to the point, that now sent in by Tyson Wilson. As the Canucks back off, not wanting to allow any stretch passes up, cause much danger. The Riels still had a bit of time before that pass was made up ice to maybe get one more chance on net. We did go back to even strength, by the way. Or no, we didn't. We got 30 seconds left on the Jacob Phillips penalty. But overall, I think you got to be really satisfied with most of this period. If you're the Junior Canucks, you'd like a bit more discipline in your game. Double minors, the game misconducts, those are going to hurt you as this game goes along against a Riels team that they got so much skill that they can beat you with. But even though St. Boniface has 16 shots and they've had some good looks, I've liked how St. James has played them. Not making it easy for them to get on rebounds, those second chances. Connor Murphy's been battling well. And also really liking their penalty kill, how aggressive it is. Their best players, one of their returnees in Osterman, who's actually the only player that's set to age out on this team this year, being the only 04, almost creates some magic to get this game tied in the final 30 seconds of the period, or with under a minute left, was bested by Domenico. We'll see how this Riels team start to maybe open things up, as the second period will be coming up shortly here. And as for the Canucks, how they can continue to, frustrate the St. Boniface team in ways, not make anything easy for them around their own net, and maybe somehow you are able to capitalize on an opportunity and get one past Alex Dominico coming up in this next period of action. As 30 seconds remain in the Riels power play. We'll get to see that power play, the remainder of it coming up next to start off the second period. After this first period of action, the first 20, which was brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Be sure to check them out today at 995 Miltseagle Drive, as well as at their website at cancentralsportscards.com. More from them coming up during this intermission and the second period call to follow.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And welcome back to Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Game Day here on your home for MMJHL Hockey on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Thank you so much for tuning in to this one, MMJHL fans. By the way, the money you spend, a portion of it goes back to the MMJHL, so it's a win-win for all parties involved. You help support us, you help support the MMJHL, and hoping that we can get as many eyes on this league as possible this year because, a team that's playing in this matchup today, the defending champion St. Boniface Riels, looking really entertaining in their first, 5 periods of hockey since their win on Friday against the Transcontinental Railer Express came in overtime. Looking pretty good so far to start things off against the St. James Junior Canucks, who will be on the penalty kill still to start off this period for the next 30 seconds as Jacob Phillips still remains in the box. But in terms of the goal scorer in the first period, it was Nathan Brzezinski on the power play, receiving a pass from Grayson Matthews and putting it home past Connor Murphy. Landon Sitars also with an assist, so 2 rookies getting in on the point action there. A lot of penalties for St. James in that period. In fact, 6 in total. A game misconduct, double minor for spearing. Jaden Ward was the player who got kicked out of this game, number 18, and it was Aiden Werthal who had that nasty spearing right in the midsection of Carson Dubois. Was happy to see him okay. Same with Kalen Reyes as he got banged up during that first period. A game that I'm sure will continue to ramp up in the chippiness as we go along here. But in terms of from around the rest of the league, the scores from the matchups that are currently going down. For the Transcontinental Railer Express, they had a huge second period, scoring 4 unanswered against the Stonewall Jets. They now lead in that one 6-3 at home at East End. 16:45 remaining in the third period. The Raiders Junior Hockey Club en route to their first win of the season. 2 minutes and 4 seconds away from a shutout as they lead the Pembina Valley Twisters 6-0. Huge 4-goal period for this team in the third has really set them apart from the Raiders. As for St. Vital and River East, they've gotten going now as it's 1-1 after the first period of play there. Shots 13-10 in favor of the Victorias. Only matchup that has to get going still is Fort Garry against Charleswood, which will be going at 6:30 p.m. at Century Arena as those two rivals meet each other for the first time in this regular season. But as for this first period of action that just went down, and we take a look at the keys to the game. The Canucks, they're going to need their goaltending to step up big time in this game. And not only that, but the team around their goaltender. And I think they've done a pretty nice job of doing that so far in terms of helping Connor Murphy out. limiting their breakdowns, because there are going to be breakdowns against a team like St. Boniface. It's about how you limit them and how you are able to recover from those breakdowns. And I think this is going to be the key for any team against St. Boniface, but you got to get traffic in front of their goaltenders in the offensive zone. And that ideally comes off of, you getting shots from the point after you work it up on the cycle, win your forecheck battles, things like that, right? To try to get a cycle going, and that's something that St. James didn't really have a chance to do during that first period, just because of the penalty trouble they were in. As for the St. Boniface Riels, they got off to a pretty quick start. We'll see if they can not only sustain their pressure, but maintain their poise in this one. So we showed you the keys to the game. And as for this second period, which will be brought to you by Elite Prospects in Movement, Fitness, and Performance, we are officially off with the Riels still on the power play for the next 14 seconds here. So we got Elite Prospects onto the screen. Straw won by the Canucks and sent all the way down on the clear into the Riels end. And as for the Canucks, even though it was only 30 seconds to kill off, ever since giving up that first power play goal on the penalty kill earlier in the first, their penalty kills really settled down and has allowed for them to get some good things done against the St. Boniface Riels, as that shot heavy on Murphy turned aside right away. And here we go behind the net as Grayson Matthews, along with one of his teammates, getting physical with a few Canucks. As Belu's still going at a Canuck, putting his glove in, I believe, Judry's face. Gave him a bit of a face wash as Judry heads back towards his bench. We keep Elite Prospects on the screen for the time being. There will be no penalties called from what just happened. We will just remain at even strength. As Colin for St. James comes in to take the draw against Dubois. Draw won by the Riels, but unable to get that pass back up cleanly to Riels as it hopped out off the boards instead. Riels reverses this quickly to Evan Lambert as Lambert right back to Riels. Riels sends it up to Sitters. Sitters tries to send that across to Hill, but unable to, or rather to Rich. Ethan Rich wears number 55 for this year's Riels team. Colin behind the net sends a pass out in front, trying to locate Parnell. Parnell couldn't find that pass as that shot towards the net. Arneson getting a tip on it, denied by Dominico. For the St. James Junior Canucks, able to feed one through towards the goal, where Arneson was right there. Nice job with the hand-eye to get a piece of that puck to challenge number 30 in Dominico, as Salamacho will get kicked out of this face-off draw. It will be Hutchinson to come in and take it for this Junior Canucks squad. Won by the Riels. Sorry, number 24, Aiden McIntosh. There's offside called here at the line. .18:23 left on the first period, or the second period clock. This draw won by the Riels, but Dominico had to go back in his own end to get that back out again. Just played D to Judry. His pass up by Fandon. Judry gets it right back. Tried to make a move to the middle. Lost a handle on that puck. Phillip chases it down. Phillips up to Gallagher. Gallagher tries to send McIntosh on that pass. As the Riels flip this out into the skates of Salamocha. He'll look to turn it up ice. Takes a bump from Matthews, but continues along. Sends it in deep. Is this a chance for McIntosh? Puts it high of the net. It's a bad bounce off the boards. Almost goes in the favor of this Canucks squad. That shot from distance, glove down by Domenico. .17:32 on this clock remaining. Another face-off draw coming up this time in the Riels end. As nice move by Werfel off the draw. Slid it through the skates of the Riels centerman. Just couldn't get a shot off. So Wilson tried to send that down low. Back up to the point. Back up to the point again. Wilson can't hold it in. Spurzinski was able to just whack it outside. So Wilson will be back on it now in his own end. Passes D now up to Osterman as he goes off the boards up to Werfel. Werfel being held up along the boards. No call on the play. There will be a whistle for a cover-up as both players down low still tied up with each other. Number 5 and Hansen along with Werfel. Pretty shocked that there was no penalty called there against the Riels, as I guess the refs just deeming it as a true board battle. Yeah, battle didn't stop afterwards between Werfel and Hansen as they wrestled each other down to the ice. We'll see what's in store for the rest of this game in terms of plays like that. We've already seen extracurriculars after the whistles to start off this second period of action. As the Riels look to get to speed, they do just that. Down low, still protecting it. Caden Gordon plays it up to the point to Lambert. Lambert right back to Gordon. Gordon feeds it cross ice to Kalen Reyes as Reyes. His shot down low. Got to Rich, back up now to Riels. That shot tipped. Murphy lost track of it for a moment, but didn't end up testing him, didn't get to the net. That almost chased down by Cullen in the neutral zone, but the Riels sent it down quickly to defend that chance. Cullen now back in. Low shot turned aside by Domenico. The shot's now 17 in favor of the Riels, 9 for the Canucks so far in this one. Face-off draw will be to the glove hand side of Domenico, near side to our broadcast angle. Won by the Riels. Dubois lost his stick, but gets it back again. It's poked out by the Riels near their blue line. Sent back in by the Canucks. As the Riels look to stretch this up. Almost gets through to Dubois, but defending him. So nice stick by Jourdry. As this turned over now. Sitars, he'll blow a tire. As Arneson will skate up with it. Passes to Parnell in the neutral zone. Parnell sidesteps one Riels player, but can catch up to the puck to maintain possession. And that shot, what a rip from Sitars! Down the left side past Murphy. For that, a 2-0 lead now for the St. Boniface Riels side. And it looks like maybe Murphy just misplays it a smidge as that ends up rising all the way to the very top, placing that shot. Looking like he hit the back bar on that one. In and out from Sitars for his first career MMJHL goal. One that I'm sure he'll remember quite fondly, given how nice that shot was. That goal is brought to you by Elite Prospects. Most informative hockey player database on the web today. Be sure to check them out at eliteprospects.com. It's number 21. in Landon Sitars with a huge goal to put his St. Boniface Riels up by 2. From the point, that blast wide of the net from Dominico. First one on it, Grayson Matthews down low. He sent this to, I believe, Sukit towards the net, trying to get that rebound off of a blast from Sachin at the point. His physical play down low. Riels out of position, though, allows for the Canucks to break in the other way towards the net as McIntosh sent that on. It's denied by Dominico all the way down back below the goal line in the Canucks end, but no icing call on the play. Tyson Wilson have to try to evade Sukit, and he does with a pass over to Firth, but Firth's pass up the ice. Had a bit of trouble at first, finally he does get into the neutral zone. His physical play at the blue line there allows now for Gallagher to come in. Dipsy doodling Gallagher denied by a nice left pad kick save by Dominico. Now the Canucks caught behind the play. Numbers for the Riels heading the other way now as Chorley sends that to the slot. Pass can't connect with Sukit as the Canucks got back to defend and took him away as a passing option. He has it on his stick now. Finds an option up top, and Ewan Reyes, who has that denied. Sitars was heading to the net. Sitars somehow gets this back up to Ewan Reyes. Deflected in the very high slot. Forced Murphy to change course to make that save in his positioning. So we continue to see the rough stuff happening after the play has been blown dead, and since we are now at a bit of a stoppage, it's a great time to remind you again of what the shots are. It's 21-11 in favor of the Riels as they lead this game 2-0 after a great accurate shot from Sitars to best Connor Murphy, as Ryland Murphy tried to send this out, but line was held well by the Riels. Belou's pass up to Reyes. A bit of trouble getting it to him. It allows for the Canucks to break up the other way, but that pass to Cullen in the slot. Shot turned aside by Dominico there. As towards the net. That shot scores! Backdoor feed to number 15 and Jace Anderson. Gives this Canucks team new life on the scoreboard. Cuts the lead down to 1. 2-1 now in favor of St. Boniface. Great job by Anderson heading towards the net. Nice pass on his stick from down low. Makes no mistake to put it past number 30 and Alex Dominico, as that shot turned aside by Dominico right away off the face-off draw. A goal, by the way, brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance. 12:47 remains in this period. The score 2-1 favor of the Riels, most recently from the Canucks, cutting into the lead with a goal from Jace Anderson. So we'll see what type of response this Riels team has. So it's sent down low by Major, took a bump by number 13 in Judry. Pass all the way down, trying to beat it out. Arneson gets to the net and gets a shot off as he draws a penalty as well. What a chance, what speed from number 9, who not only gets to that puck first, but draws a penalty in the process. For the first time in this period, we're going to see, well, a full power play sequence. We, of course, started off with 30 seconds still left in a Jacob Phillips unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. This one will be brought to you by Elite Prospects. St. James, so far on, well, their only full power play chance. Come to think of it, I'm not even sure if they've had a full power play sequence without taking a penalty, but regardless, they'll look to get to work here to try to get back within even of this one. Line can't be held by Parnell as he had a nice attempt to try to block that with his glove to keep it in. In fact, it will be called for a hand pass. With the draw just outside the Canucks zone. No, it'll be inside the Canucks end because that's where Parnell ends up touching it. It's Cole Davis to take the face-off draw here coming up for the Riels. He loses it to Cullen. Davis right back to pin. Phillips along the near side wall. Allowed for Cullen to get this loose puck and send it up. But the zone can't be maintained by the Canucks. They'll send it in deep now. First one on it, Hansen. He tries to send it out. Just does, as Cullen can't cradle that puck and control it instead. Right back into his own end. He skates this. Has Cole Davis pressuring him. Davis peels off of him. And the Canucks able to find some open space of the neutral zone to work this puck through. Now kicked out to Cullen down the right side. His shot unable to get in on net as turned over now, or rather poked out near the blue line back in to the Canucks zone by the Riels. Phillips, his pass, trying to kick that out wide. Be cut off by Major off the boards all the way back down. He sends this into the Canucks end. Parnell sends it up to Cullen, but an offside call on the play. With 35 seconds remaining on the Canucks power play, and haven't been able to sustain any zone time really because puck management just hasn't been the greatest, and blindly throwing passes to the outside which have been getting intercepted. And St. Boniface with a jump in their step right now, a bit faster, getting to pucks. They recently gave up their first goal of the game. It's Chase Anderson, the goal scorer for the Canucks. It's Salamacha with the puck now as he carries it in. Salamacha ran out of room, just decides to send this in deep. Tried to rim it around, and he does to Arneson. Up top to Warszawa. Penalty expires. Warsawa's shot unable to get through as that was blocked up. Now fans on it, and bad bounce is Brzezinski. He picks it up off to the races. Now in on Murphy, scores! Puck management, even though it's an unlucky break, happens to fall under that category where it's another turnover for the junior Canucks this time. They just try to fire this in deeper towards the net, but it's fanned on. Brzezinski right there, up in that defenseman's grill. Able to gain a step on him, get to that loose puck first in the neutral zone. After swooping it away, he uses his speed, turns on the Jets to gain a step past the Canucks defense. And a bit of hesitation, gets in and close on Murphy before putting a shot low side. Low short side, as I should say. Which gives this Riels side a 2-goal lead cushion back. After being up 2-0, they saw the score get to 2-1, but now see a 3-1 lead in their favor. How does this Canucks team respond now? As Kunitz, he ends up beating out this icing. Great effort there from number 10. As down low, Jace Anderson tries to get this free from Evan Lambert. As Lambert doing a nice job of pinning that puck up along the boards. So by the way, that goal not a shorthanded marker for this Riels side. It ends up being even strength as we had just gone back to even strength before that turnover ended up ensuing. But 9:01 remains, or 9:07 remains in this second period of action. Swerfel will be kicked out of this face-off circle. Looks like Gallagher will be the one to take it, as Gallagher swoops in down low beyond the goal line, sends it to the front of the net after putting on some magic through that face-off win. Nutmegging the St. Boniface D. Gallagher gets to the slot, can't get that shot on net. So he whacked away at it, but Good job by the Riels, getting 6 in the lane. Now a move by Gallagher, trying to drag this in tight, but unable to hold on to it as the Riels able to take that away. Look out there, Matthews. Abade's getting hit hard. Saw that hit coming. The Riels will be going on to the power play here. It's a delayed penalty on the play. 2 minutes for a high stick. Looked like Zachary Dominico had some words for Gallagher as Gallagher makes his way to the box. And we see the Riels go on to one of their many power plays this afternoon, brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance as it's worked to Kalen Riels. Riels to Lambert is Lambert. He'll unload this shot, catching a piece of Murphy's blocker. It's denied by number 31. So the Canucks able to send this out. Brzezinski protecting this near his own blue line, drops it back for Lambert. Lambert just before the blue line sends this in deep. Murphy cuts this off out of his own net. Below the goal line, sent up the far side boards as Lambert cuts this clean attempt off. Off the boards, utilize them to get that pass to Brzezinski. Now tries to whip it across to Reyes, but hit a skate on the way through as now walks in as Brzezinski, but can't fire that shot away. So he fanned on it. Brzezinski to the slot. Riels find this down low. Reyes denied at the side of the net on that whack. He gets hauled down quite aggressively afterwards. He's trying to find it off the side of the net. Brzezinski just makes a simple play to send it towards the slot. Puts it there to allow for his teammates to go to work to try to hunt that puck down in between skates. They do just that somehow and find a way to get it towards the net, making Murphy make 2 tough saves on their 24th shot of the game. Should I say their 23rd and 24th shots. They had 2 whacks at that puck in tight on Murphy. As things sorted out once again, we're back to play. So it's up to Sukic. Sukic. His shot scores! Laser beam to the top right corner and in and out of the net right away. Or I should say top left corner as it beats Murphy on that glove hand side through traffic that's pretty darn impossible to stop. Especially when a team like the Riels can shoot it as accurately as they do. That time an accurate, hard shot from Reeve Sukic to extend the lead out to 3 for this Riels side. In a period where Australia only started to recently see the goals pile up. As that down for an icing. That goal, by the way, brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance, an independent local Winnipeg-owned gym. Sure to check them out at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue, building number 3. So they're going on 5 years strong in that location. Draw won by the Riels. It was Gordon from below the goal line. The Canucks try sending that up top, and they do get it to the point to Parnell as he's pinned up along the boards right away. It's Werfel going to battle down low along with Dominico. Puck worked loose up to the point for the Canucks. Can't get through with that shot though. It's number 3 and Murphy is delayed. Penalty coming up. The Canucks will be back to the power play in just a moment here as soon as the Riels touch the puck up. Unless they get a penalty for retaliation as Rylan Murphy, obviously not a fan. So that's the player you saw come in and lay the hit on that Victoria or on that Riel afterwards. It does just look like we'll be going to a penalty for the next 2 minutes here. It will go strictly to the Riels. As Zachary Dominico is the one who goes into the box. The physical Riels defenseman. It's a 2-minute boarding call penalty against him. This next power play being brought to you by Elite Prospects for the St. James Junior Canucks. Trouble with it at the line. This sent up to Bieluz now, who goes one-on-one with Arneson. Bieluz can't get past Arneson in the St. James zone as number 9 had a good stick against number 39. Sent in opposite corner. Sachin got to it first and sends this all the way down off of the boards. Murphy out of his own net to play this and plays it up the boards to Warszawa, but out of his reach, allows for the Riels to get it back and send it right back down below the Canucks goal line. With almost 40 seconds gone already on the Canucks man advantage. Missed pass off of the boards, taken away by Sachin. Sachin walks in near side, pass across, gets there to Major. Or it might have been Cole Davis. Yes, it was Cole Davis who's denied. As the puck management has to improve here for this Canucks squad if they want any way to get back into the zone. Murphy, aggressive, just gets that past Davis, as Davis still ends up taking it away and sends it back to Ewan Reyes as he sends that in deep. It's Major, first one on it now. His shot turned aside. Major gets to that rebound, but can't do anything with it. The Riels penalty kill a step quicker, a few steps quicker at that than the Riels PK, but maybe here finally signs of life on what's been a pretty abysmal 2 minutes. Unable to keep the puck in, so the Riels shut that down again. Jordry bumped into the boards by Major, as Major now waited a bump and took it from behind as he continues in the board battle just inside his own end. Worked across Cullen. He unloads that shot, fired on Dominico. So he sticks his stick out afterwards. Spin a Canuck to the ice with 8 seconds remaining on this Canucks man advantage. We should remain at 5-on-4 here. There we are. Jay Sanderson makes his way out onto the ice. The lone goal scorer for St. James in this one is St. James able to win the draw, but once again, execution not there on the pass back to the point. We go back to even strength as opportunity gone out the wayside for this Canucks team. Another turnover in their own end. Brzezinski's shot can't get through, so it's blocked up on its way towards the net. Cullen locates an open man in Phillips cross ice as Phillips spouts the red line, sent that in deep. Dominico has to play this quickly and does to Gordon as Gordon bumped up along the boards. Now Reyes sent into the boards. The Riels get this back. They'll reverse it D-to-D after taking the puck back from the Canucks in their own end. Stretched cross ice to Lambert, who makes a nice move to protect below the stick of a Canuck. In tight, that chance for Gordon denied. So it got deflected wide of the net and eliminated the chance. Nice use of the head there from Brzezinski as he was able to block it up. Riels slow to get back to his feet, and Luke Ross the other way. The Canucks head down into the Riels end as that shot turned aside by Dominico, sticking out the right arm to make a nice save. It's the Riels are able to get fresh legs out on the ice on the forward end. Unable to hold this in as it just gets out for St. Boniface. That pass up. A turn away once again. Sukit will drop this back to Lambert. Lambert, what a pass there from number 2. Connects with Sukit somehow. As Sukit now will whip this to Sachin at the point. Turned aside, rebound there, but unable to whack away at it was Gordon. Turned aside by Murphy. The side of the net as the Canucks finally do get this out, but it will be all the way down for an icing. What a feed from Lambert, and I don't think we caught it, but Luke Ross is being helped off the ice right now. We just saw him recently go down in some agony. We'll have to wait and see if he returns in this one, but I'm sure it'll be unlikely given how severe it looks right now, but we will keep you posted. Atchison, his shot, unable to get through. Or McIntosh, sorry, number 21. Just played across to Sukit. Sukit already with a goal in this game. Played it towards the front of the net, but denied by the stick of number 31 in Murphy. That shot from Hansen at the point rose up, went wide of the net. It'll be Arneson. Looks to go one-on-one with Hansen. Sends it down low instead. It'll be picked up by Grayson Matthews. On board, Sukit has that taken away by Arneson. Arneson from below the goal line. Couldn't get a handle on that puck again to be able to control it. This is turned over just inside the Riels blue line. Played down low as the Canucks pinned up down below that goal line. It was Arneson. Now it's on the stick of Sukit, who has 4 Canucks around him. Tries to dangle past one of them, and Wilson instead shut down. Kuntz will play this up to Brooks. Brooks have to slow up, but gets this puck back. Brooks, his shot turned aside as a quick snap into the glove of Dominico. With 1:26 remaining in this period. Shots now 28-17 in favor of the Riels. They entered into this period up 16-6. So a period for this Canucks squad where they've had more action, more opportunities. But the penalty trouble for them has, well, costed them in this one. Just puck management at certain points. Puck management during this period. Something that just hasn't been there in their own end. Plenty of turnovers that the Riels have been able to get in on, intercepting pucks, taking pucks away off of turnovers on the forecheck, and for this Canucks side, giving up 2 power play goals in this game too. The most recent one to Reeve Sukit, and the first one of the game to Nathan Brzezinski. As Parnell will walk in, just getting a piece of that with the glove save was Dominico, held in and played D-to-D to Parnell by the Canucks. Parnell tries to send that low left face-off circle, but couldn't get that pass through to number 11 in Collin. This set to a open space up by backdoor feed. That shot can't be put on net by Belouz, as it is the Canucks on the power play, by the way. With a chance, with numbers going the other way, it's over to Cullen. Cullen mishandled this puck just a bit, sent it down low. It is a double minor, of course, for this Riels side, as Zachary Dominico is in the box. Just for Parnell, flips it up the boards. Took a physical hit there from Major. Was still offside, so Lambert just decides to circle back, taking the puck all the way back into his own end. As with that, with the Canucks on the power play for 2 minutes and 44 seconds coming up. Start off this period, the upcoming period, which is the third. We'll see if that can potentially be the start of a comeback for this team who's down by 3. He gave up, of course, 3 goals during that period. Got on the board, had more shots. But it's just the little things that lead to the big things that the Riels have done just a bit of a better job today than the junior Canucks. We'll get to more of that and break down why we've gone to a 4-0 score in favor of the Riels after a bit of a break here as we send it to our promo screen for this intermission, which coming out of the intermission, it'll be the Canucks who are on the power play for 2 minutes and 44 seconds more. Shots 28-18 in favor of the leading Riels. This period was brought to you by Movement, Fitness, and Performance, as well as Elite Prospects. More to come for a third and final period of regulation this afternoon. From the home of the defending MMJHL champions, Southdale Community Center. We'll be back shortly. And welcome back into Southdale Community Center as we get set here for this upcoming third and final period of regulation. Could we be seeing some overtime in this one this afternoon? Right now it looks unlikely as it's 4-1 in favor of the St. Boniface Riels. They lead in the shot category as well, 28-18 after the first 40 minutes of play. As during this past period, the most goals we've seen in a single period so far here on our MMJHL game day broadcast in 2025-2026 is Landon Sitar scored his first career MMJHL goal. The rookie wired one home past Murphy, going down the left side into the Canucks end and putting it just under the bar. Then Jace Anderson would get the Canucks on the board to cut down the lead to 2-1 with his first career MMJHL goal, being a rookie this year. But then Nathan Brzezinski, his second goal of the game, this time just as the penalty had expired for the St. Boniface Riels. Brzezinski able to force a turnover at the line after a fan shot attempt from a Canucks defenseman, and Brzezinski gets a step past the Canucks defense and able to throw on some hesitation before beating Connor Murphy short side, the shot on the ice. And then the Riels, an absolutely perfect shot on the power play through some traffic by Reeve Sukut to put them up 4-1, 12-28 into that period. And as for the Riels, 2 power play goals in this game here today so far. They only had 1 power play opportunity during that second period, so it's nice to see the Canucks get their discipline worked on and seeing some good discipline throughout that period. As 1 penalty is better than 6 penalties taken. As for the Riels, they were a bit of a more undisciplined team compared to the Canucks in that period. 4 penalties in total in this game. 1 for a slash and 1 for a high sticking during that period in the second. But now in the third, as the Canucks, they're going to start off on the power play. And you never know, maybe if you get a quick one and you're able to find another gear in your game, you can find a way to come back in this one and get this one even again against the Riels side. That is up by a score of 4-1. Heading into this third period, brought to you by Terrico, and we are off as the Canucks looking to erase this 3-goal deficit. Be quite a way to start getting in that direction if you're able to strike quickly here on the power play. As it's controlled by Parnell, off the boards, passes up to Jacob Phillips. It's sent all the way out by the St. Boniface Riels. And one point we didn't get to during the intermission, but the big struggle for St. James during that period, and something that really needs to be better here if they want any chance of even getting close to tying it, as puck management has to be way better. We saw moments ago that they were unable to connect with the pass in the offensive zone on the power play. Puck sent out there by the Riels, but yeah, just too many turnovers in their own end. The Riels hopped all over those pucks and created offense that way and made St. James pay on some of their bad puck management during that period. So just like you got more discipline in that second period compared to the first, how do we see the puck management get better here for the St. James Junior Canucks? Well, not much power play time left anymore. It's still over a minute, but going on 1 minute and 20 seconds and counting they have remaining. It's nice play by Dominico. Plays this up the near side boards and gets it to Gordon. Gordon loses an edge as it allows for Jace Anderson to pick this up. Heading through middle ice, now broken in to the Riels end as Anderson protects this down low. Anderson pinned up along the boards. his team in to help, but nothing doing there as the Riels able to get on that first and send it all the way down deep. Murphy leaves this for Warsaba with 40 seconds remaining now. The clock ticking on this Canucks man advantage. Short pass, that off the stick initially of number 10, and Kuntz tried to catch up to it, but unable to down that near side. Was sent back by number 24 in McIntosh, but pass not being complete there for this Canucks team. They have to break out from their own end once again. Is calling for the puck is Colin McIntosh, just offside. So 17:25 remaining in this period. 9 seconds on the Zachary Dominico penalty. Face-off draw will be just outside the Riels end. Nice job by Brzezinski taking away that nutmeg face-off play that time around. So he gets it all the way down into the Canucks end. We're back to even strength. It's that power play sequence brought to you by Terrico. The Riels got to be really satisfied with how their PK has looked in this one. Of course, have had to consistently sent down pucks as they have. So they've had the opportunities to do so. Opportunity down low now. Sitars carries this puck. Wraparound chance denied by Murphy. Sits up back to the point to Reyes. Drags this, fires into the skates of Salamacha. Salamacha can't get it out. Backhand clearing attempt too weak. Sent back down low by the Riels. Riels sidesteps the hit there from Salamacha or Warsaba, as they can't clear the line in time. So offside called here on the play. Face-off draw will be won by the Canucks all the way back down to their own end. Rylan Murphy on it. His pass up the near side wall was taken away by Sukit. Held in at the line now by Reyes. His shot deflects and goes in to the far side corner in the Canucks zone. That pass in between the skates of Osterman. Tries to chip this up to Werfel. Unable to. Gets it back. Just fires it in past the red line. Below the Riels goal line. It's a bit of trouble with it at first, but they do get control of it back. Short pass up now into the neutral zone as loose puck still there. Chased down by Reyes. He'll draw a penalty here. And it'll put the Riels onto the power play for the first time since just over halfway remaining in the second period. It's going to be 2 minutes for a trip, and it's Carson Salamacha who ends up going into the box. Or sorry, number 15, I guess, and Anderson. As the Riels back onto the power play. Brought to you by Terrico. Scrum in front of the net ensued. This face-off draw, the far side in the Canucks zone, won by the Riels. Play D-to-D over to Sukit. Sukit walks, kicks this out to Chorenly, turned aside by Murphy. As net off, causes another stoppage in the action. The Riels looking for their third power play goal of this contest. Got their man advantage going a bit more here today. In terms of the chances, as that shot was blocked. Broken stick, 2 from Parnell. He's without his weapon at the moment. Looking to block this without his stick. Got in the lane, it got past him and wide of the net. He heads off now to get a stick. Trying to make it back quickly as Parnell. He does. Pass didn't get through to the back door as the Riels still control along the boards. Now backdoor feed to Sukit but unable to handle that pass cleanly. Went wide of the net instead. Suket tried to thread it through, but instead hops towards the blue line. Chornley settles it down back to Suket. His shot fired wide of the net as it rims around hard enough to get back to Chornley. Chornley back to Suket. Suket to the left face-off circle. That pass and shot denied by Murphy. Major getting the attention of Rylan Murphy right in front of Connor Murphy. It's number 3 standing up for his goaltender. But as we can see, Dubois and Sitars having a conversation with each other in terms of, I think Sitars asking where Dubois wants him on this face-off draw. So we're going to get it at the same spot as we have the previous 2 times, with Dubois taking the draw against Arneson on the far side in the Canucks zone. Draw won by Dubois, but nice battle along the boards by Firth, pinning up Riels. Riels gets loose again as he'll drop this back to Lambert. Lambert to Suket. Suket back up top to Riels. Riels over to Lambert. Lambert hesitates right back to Riels. Riels fakes 2. Now gets this to Brzezinski. As Brzezinski backhand this across with success to Lambert. Finds Riels walking in. His shot turned aside by Murphy. It's really nice movement here on this power play from this Riels team, activating everyone. Lambert, his shot turned aside by Murphy. First one on it is Dubois to track down this rebound. Saucer up to opposite point man, and Brzezinski puts the moves on Arneson, now puts the moves on Osterman. His shot towards the net, a pass instead, rebound there, denied, and now a chance, even strength for the Canucks. Straight out of the box, it's going to be wide of the net. As McIntosh went wide of it. Now Sitars with a chance. Denied. It goes wide of the net, sorry. This will be sent up. Ostman to Kuntz. Kuntz, his shot turned aside by Domenico. As Wilson can't handle that at the line. Is turned over onto Sitars' stick. Sitars delays, tries to feed that pass through to Beluz. Beluz gets it down low, but turned over towards the point. Cut off by Brooks. Feeds it up into his man in McIntosh. McIntosh puts on the brakes, tries to feed that pass across to Brooks, but Brooks couldn't receive the pass. It's denied well. All the way down into the Canucks zone again. This will be chased down by Phillips. There is no icing called on the play. He's sent up to Kuntz. Has McIntosh with him. Kuntz just before the blue line sent it in deep. As Rich can't quite carry the line. It'll be to Brooks. Brooks tries to spin and fire that, but has his pocket picked. The Riels worked this pass up. Now it's back into the Canucks zone. Beluz can't spin and fire that pass. Success as Kuntz now. Shot from distance turned aside by Domenico. So we'll see a stoppage in play. .12:06 remaining here. Shots 35-19 in favor of St. Boniface. Cullen loses that draw. Number 22 in Shane Chornley. That stretch pass beautifully onto the stick of Suket. He's in on Murphy. Murphy gets the better of Suket that time. But what a feed from, I believe it was Evan Lambert, making an immediate impact back into the lineup today. With plays like that, as Lambert will protect in the corner. Now quickly off the backboards, got it to Sachin. Sachin had some trouble with it, but no trouble breaking out this time as he kicks it out to Chornley near his side. Chornley tried finding Suket, but that disrupted with a stick in the lane to take the pass away. Phillips Up to that's Cullen. Has it taken away, gets a pass back from Parnell. Tries to dangle past number 16 and Sachin, but access denied. Turned over. Riels back in the Canucks zone. Matthews can let that shot go. Now the Riels turn it over. It's Anderson, has two players with him. He fires this off the post instead. As Domenico has to thank his best friend there. Making an appearance, stopping a save. Sachin will now work this puck up just before the blue line, about to be cut off. Sent it in deep. It's the Canucks. Sees Anderson taking a bump along the boards. Now down low, Osterman on the attack. Trying to get this puck back away from Brzezinski. Brzezinski gets it to Cole Davis. Fed up to Major, out of his reach. D now for the Canucks as they look to break in the other way. A dump in instead. Domenico stopped that up behind his own net and now played that to safety to a teammate. Lambert jumps up into the play. He gets this puck. Dangles through Lambert. What a move from two. Tried to feed it backdoor to Major, but the pass was off the mark. It's number 2 dancing here late in this game. Almost halfway gone in this third period of action. Zwerfel laid a huge hit on Ewan. Reyes there along the boards. Able to get it out past Reyes. Sent all the way down for what will be no icing in the Riels end. So the refs waved it off. Kuntz along with Brooks out there as Brooks loses that battle on the forecheck. It's over to Brzezinski and delayed offside on the play because he ended up losing possession of the puck. It's 9:37 remains in this period. Of course, Riels leading by a score of 3, up 4-1 in this late afternoon affair. By the way, from around the MMJHL, we'll get the scores here soon, but that's taken away by Brooks. Feeds it towards the net, rebound there. Penalty drawn to by number 24, McIntosh. As he was heading towards the net. Off of a creative pass by Brooks. This gets Terrico back on. Serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. By the way, Transcona Railer Express, they win 8-4 over the Stonewall Jets this afternoon. Stonewall now 1-1, and Transcona into the win column for the first time this regular season. The Raiders improved to 1-1 as Pembina Valley falls to 0-2 as they lost 6-0 to the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. And as for the River East Royal Knights, they lead the St. Vital Junior Victorias by a score of 4-1 or 4-2 right now. 17:49 remaining in the third period over there. As for the Junior Canucks, they're forced to break out from their own end as Phillips works this across to Cullen. Cullen retrieves it off the boards and now makes his way in. Down the right side, drop back for number 15 and Anderson. But Anderson turned it over down low, almost cleared out. Tipped side of the net by Anderson, but couldn't get it on net. Now up to the point. It's Phillips. Phillips to Cullen. Cullen surveying his options, sends it right back up to Phillips. Phillips cross ice to Parnell. Parnell to McIntosh. McIntosh takes a big bump. It gets into Anderson anyways. Played it across. And now back up to the point to Phillips again. Rebound there for McIntosh, but can't get a handle on it. They got a shot on net. Up top to Phillips again. Phillips to Cullen. Cullen to the slot for Anderson. Anderson quickly back over to Cullen. His shot can't get through. Met sticks instead. So it was blocked up and sent all the way back down into the Canucks end now. Off the skate of Cullen. Left for Anderson. Anderson still maintains possession of this puck. Nice shimmy shake move at the red line as 12 seconds remain on the man advantage. The Canucks just sent it down deep, and with that, we are back to even strength. There's 7:15 remaining. Better looks there for the Canucks, but still having a tough time being able to find those rebound chances to do much with them. Well, this Riels penalty kill is going to get a test again, as they're going off, I believe, for too many men, delay of game. Or maybe 2 minutes for a hook. Puts Gordon into the box. And it puts the Canucks back on a man advantage. Dished out to Parnell. Parnell, his pass, unlucky bounce there over the stick of Phillips. Allowed for this puck to get all the way out and now sent all the way back down into the Canucks zone. As Phillips fakes one way, heads the other past his own net. Passed up to Cullen, but Cullen can't cradle that pass. Turned over instead to Matthews, as Matthews about to be cut off, and there, unsportsmanlike from Werfel, as Werfel, he's going to get something going with Bialouz now, as both Riels, Bialouz, and Matthews going at him. Now Arneson's going to throw some punches at Riels as he has him in a headlock. We will be going back to 4-on-4. As here Riels now getting a few punches in on Anderson as we got ourselves an old-fashioned hockey brawl. Both players feeding each other the goods. Riels gets sent down onto the ice, Arneson on top of him. Werfel continuing to chirp with Riel as he heads towards the penalty box, as Arneson wants some more between him and Riels, as both John and each other before being sent off. Riels getting an ovation from the crowd and his bench. And we'll see how they sort things out here. But of course, as we do now have some time, we'll take you through our upcoming broadcast for this month, as Werfel is also sent out of this game along with Arneson. But yeah, as we can see here, we'll be back in action with a doubleheader on Thursday night. We'll have one Friday night game, and then 2 Sunday afternoon games on Thanksgiving Sunday next week, as our broadcast schedule continues along here. As for both of these two teams, we take a look at how opening night ended up going down. Of course, 4 matchups will be in the books before we start Charleswood and Fort Garry, which that one's coming up at 6:30 p.m. There's 6:40 remaining in this one. So it looks like Gordon's also going to be sent out of this game. It's both the Riels and Canucks are trying to get an explanation for what's going to be going down here, as it does still show this Canucks squad on the power play for the next minute and 31 seconds. As Matthews also gets kicked out of this game. So we got 2 rookies in Matthews and Gordon who were kicked from this game from the Riels side, along with Kalen Reyes for fighting. And as for the Canucks, we see Werfel gone. His penalty is going to be served by number 25 in Gavin Salamacha. And of course, Arneson gone for fighting. So 5 players in total just got kicked out of this one. So we look to get back to action here at 4-on-4 for the next minute and 31 seconds. Brought to you by Terrico. Straw one by the Riels. Flipped in now by Sukit down the far side, as Ross will be the first one. Or sorry, Wilson will be the first one to carry that puck in and out. Now turned over. Sukit trying to make some magic happen. Almost gets a shot off of that dirty dangle. Another dirty dangle from number 12. He can't poke that through to a teammate, but it did get whacked up to Lambert, who he puts on the moves. A clinic here from number 2 so far in this third period of action. As he hits Osterman down low. Osterman got it to Wilson. Wilson to Firth. Firth back across to Osterman. Waiting for that pass at his blue line. Now past the Riels blue line. Got it to McIntosh. It's his shot denied down low. For a good pad save by Dominico. Fed up cross ice to Sukit. Sukit walks in. His shot turned aside by Murphy. As the Riels get this back down low somehow. Up top to the point to Sachin, who's denied. So that's glove down by Murphy. Draw one by the Riels, but possessed by the Canucks. No hand pass called on that play, as Brzezinski was able to get a piece of it at the blue line. Onto the stick of Sachin. He'll dish this out to a wide open Brzezinski down the left side. Brzezinski cuts to the middle. His shot denied by Murphy in the high slot with 5 seconds remaining on the Riels penalty. They go to the man advantage for 26 seconds. It's the net off here. Gavin Salamacha serving the penalty. Taken by Werfel. .504 left in this one. Brzezinski, face-off draw. Lost there this time to number 11 in Cullen. It's fill up, so he'll just work this all the way out. Shot should be registered on net there, as it was stopped up by the paddle of Dominico. Great accuracy there from number 4. Have to focus on defense on the way back. Kicked out to Brzezinski, sent it towards the net there for Sachin. The 16 led his team into the Canucks zone. We're back to even strength now. So we have Terrico on the board for the time being. Brzezinski down low. His feet to Sitar's out in front. Sorry, that was actually Rich who fed it to Sitar's. Almost able to connect. Sitar's heading towards the net again, trying to find that deflection, but ends up right into the glove of Murphy instead. Draw one by the Riels. Lambert at the point. He unloads that way wide of the net. Off the backboards, though. Almost getting a lucky bounce off of Murphy were the Riels. He's able to stop that shot from below the goal line. He kicked up to his forehand by Cullen, but that pass turned over into Gordon's possession. Gordon had that behind the back pass turned over now. So it's Firth who leads the Russian. Firth, his shot low, turned aside into the corner by Dominico. Brooks sends that down low to Kuntz. Kuntz, no one there for him, turned over instead. Up top, turnover in the Riel zone. Cullen denied with that shot. Rebound unable to be put on net by Kuntz. Kuntz heading towards the net. Now had his stick taken away by Lambert, who takes a penalty for, I believe it'll be interference from the high slot. Walking in was Ryland Murphy. as the Canucks look to control down low along the near side boards. Wilson, cross ice feed to Rylan Murphy. Rylan Murphy's shot way wide of the net into the corner. Kicked up by Kuntz into the high slot. Now unable to get a shot off was, I believe, number 7 in Wilson. But finally, we do get a stoppage in the play. To bring special teams back onto the board for the St. James Junior Canucks. Their power play graphic as, hey, you never know what could happen here. 3-goal lead is never safe. With 3:12 remaining, the Canucks, even though it's been a struggle to get much going consistently on the power play, they had their best looks on their last one. And they'll need their best here coming up against the Riels, who send this out off the boards. Murphy out. We'll leave this for Phillips. As Phillips will skate up, passes this up to McIntosh. McIntosh drilled along the boards there by Ewan Riels. So it allows for the Riels to get it back. Send it all the way down. Murphy had to be careful playing it. Does just that and got it to Phillips. Phillips has McIntosh with him along with Parnell. They'll go to Parnell. Off his stick though and turned over. Sukit creeping up on Phillips. It'll be Murphy who gets to it first, but not by much, as he cleared it out of his own end. Now it's onto the stick of Osterman. Closed off right away down that far side. Riel's able to get it out right away. Phillips is able to carry it in himself. As Phillips gets it over to Parnell. Parnell just sends it down deep as McIntosh tries to be the first one on this. Gets poked past his stick, now on to Osterman's stick. Back down low to McIntosh as McIntosh will send it up to Parnell. Parnell over to Murphy. His shot denied. Oh, that shot from McIntosh just wide of the net off the rebound. Probably the best chance he's seen in a while here. That shot by Murphy turned aside by Domenico. As the Canucks looking to get fresh legs out onto the ice, they do just that. Shots 39-24 in favor of the St. Boniface Riels. They have a commanding 4-1 lead right now. For St. James, I don't know what just happened. They're on a power play and they only had 4 players out. Unfortunate for them, but they still do have this puck in the Riel zone late in this power play. It's up top to Phillips. Phillips down low. Sends that. The teammate gets it right back. His shot wide of the net. The side of the net. Cullen turned aside on that chance. The minute 15 remaining in this period. 4 seconds remaining on the interference penalty to Lambert. Or maybe it's a hold-in penalty. He took away the stick. A St. James Junior Canuck player. As the Canucks will win this draw. Shot through but wide of the net. We're back to even strength. As Murphy will remain in his net. Sittars leads this in. His shot turned aside. Rebound there. Kicked in. No goal. The ref's calling a kicking motion. The rebound was there, but for Gordon, if he slows up just a bit, maybe he's able to get a stick around to put that in the back of the net. We're just under a minute remaining here now in regulation. The face-off draw will be right outside the Canucks zone, won by the Canucks. That's Anderson. Anderson tries to feed that through a Riel, but instead blocked up and sent down by Sittars. First one on it, Rylan Murphy into the skates of McIntosh. This turned over now, but Rich ends up being stripped of that puck. The Canucks send this in deep. McIntosh in on the forecheck, trying to force a turnover. But instead, it'll be the Riels who come away with it. Over to Lambert. Lambert flips this into center ice, picked up by Rich. Rich tries to drive past Rylan Murphy. Almost did. Murphy just got a piece of him to shut him down. With 20 seconds remaining, the Canucks will fall to 0-1-1 with this loss this afternoon in a game where just lacking consistency. Some major parts of the game. Lack of discipline costed them at points. Their puck management costed them at points. And a team that just got better and better as this one went along in the St. Boniface Riels. They come away with another victory here at home to start off this MMJHL regular season. Not needing overtime this time, just needing regulation. A 4-1 victory where they saw their power play come to life. They saw it get a bit scrappy. Well, more than that. Borderline brawls at some points and then actual brawls at other points that we saw here tonight. Always fun to see that old school action. But yeah, we are going to get into the players of the game and then, yeah, send you off here on this Sunday afternoon. Yeah, just sending my cameraman home, or camera operators, I should say. There's lots for us to do still on the network. We got 3 podcasts coming out tonight on our YouTube channel, but yeah, the final 4-1 in favor of the St. Boniface Riels. The players of the game today. We'll start off with the losing side. Brought to you by Terrico in this one. For me, for the St. James Junior Canucks, in terms of their player of the game, I like the way Jace Anderson played, created some really good chances in this one, got rewarded by going towards the front of the net and putting home St. James' only goal, which took place in that second period. And yeah, I thought as this one went along, him along with a player and I just don't know why I'm having trouble remembering his name every single time here. Number 24 for the Canucks, who is McIntosh, of course. Love it when your brain is absolutely just working at 100%, right, and it doesn't forget anything. But yeah, I thought McIntosh and Anderson both looked really impressive today. I think for Anderson, though, him being able to get that goal, winning his battles on the forecheck, making some smart plays with the puck in this one, ends up warranting him the player of the game for the St. James Junior Canucks this afternoon. Brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Find out why at terrico.ca today. As for the player of the game, brought to you by Elite Prospects, the most informative hockey player database on the web today. For me, this St. Boniface Riels side, I think I'm going to give it to Nathan Brzezinski in this matchup. I thought that from the jump in this one, Brzezinski was just all over the play in the offensive zone, played a really strong, complete 200-foot game, and was a big reason as to why the Riels were able to really squash any momentum that the Canucks had been building up after, that penalty had expired. Brzezinski with a solo effort, making his way into the zone after blocking a shot or stripping the Canucks player of the puck in the Riels blue line. Finishing off for his second goal, which ended up being the insurance marker for this Riels team in this one. And Brzezinski just making smart plays with the puck, has a multi-point game today, both of them being goals. In a 4-1 win, he got their goal scoring started, gave them a bit of insurance, and for that, Nathan Brzezinski, who's off to a hot start himself this season, gets player of the game for the St. Boniface Riels. Some final thoughts on this one as we look back to the keys to the game, actually. So I think there's some stuff in here that we can kind of kind of go off of, right? But yeah, I mean, in this one, the St. Boniface Riels got off to a fairly quick start, up 1-0 through the first 3 minutes. Scored in bunches during that second period of action, and a period which we saw no goals from both teams, but it just seemed like St. Boniface throughout this one, they were able to sustain the pressure, they held their poise, and for the Canucks, I did think they did do a pretty decent job of limiting breakdowns. They got some solid goaltending. Murphy faced 40 shots and stopped 36 of them. And they were getting traffic in front of the Riels net, but it's just not enough offensive zone time for them today. A team that was fairly undisciplined. And a team where we talk about breakdowns, well, in that second period, they didn't do themselves any favors by just turning the puck over consistently with those exit passes out of their own end, just misjudging the speed, misjudging where their players were on the ice, and it just allowed for the Riels to continue to attack, continue to pressure them, which led to good things. Being undisciplined, too, like that costed them in the first and in the second period. Not as much penalties in the second period. They took about 6 in that first. But, yeah, just that, along with a few other things for this Canucks team. Plenty of time for them to clean things up. And, yeah, they'll have 43 more games to do so. So they'll be looking to be back in the playoff hunt this year. But as for the Riels, the defending champions, it hasn't been perfect through their first 2 games, but they've shown resiliency. Thought they played way better 60 minutes today, a way better game compared to their opener on Friday night. And of course, with still things to work on, I think this team likes the spot that they're in right now, starting off 2-0 as defending champs. It can only get better from here, and for a team that has as much skill as the Riels and have showcased that throughout these 2 games, to know it's only going to get better probably for them is a scary fact to know for the rest of the league here. But as for us at G-Show Productions on gshowproductions.uscreen.io, we want to thank you for tuning into this one this afternoon. MMJHL fans want to thank goaltenders as well as Terrico, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Elite Prospects and Movement Fitness and Performance for sponsoring another edition of MMJHL Game Day. Before we let you go, we'll let you know who won between the Victorias and the Royal Knights. The Royal Knights, 4:44 remaining in the third period over there. They're still up 4-2. Of course, the Raiders Junior Hockey Club ended up winning their matchup 6-0 against the Pembina Valley Twisters, which that game can be seen on our Uscreen service right now as well. And Transcona also won 8-4 over the Stonewall Jets in our first game to start off today's action. But one more game to go. It's the Charleswood Hawks taking on the Fort Garry Twins. Hoping that those who go out to that game enjoy it. Should be a good one between Charleswood and Fort Garry. But as for us at G-Show Productions, I've been your host, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth, thanking you for tuning in and choosing us and watching this MMJHL Sunday afternoon game. Here in the 2025-2026 regular season, the Riels get off to a 2-0 start for a win-win over the Junior Canucks this afternoon. So long, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time.